we're going over the day in the life of a realtor, which makes no sense at all. I mean, like, you can't even possibly, you know, we try to set a schedule, but that's kind of why we got into this business, so we could do whatever we wanted, which is not always smart. You do need to have a schedule. You need to have a plan. And so, you know, there's a typical couple things that we've talked about in the past. Why don't you tell me, what are a couple things that should be hard and fast on your schedule every week?
Lead generation.
Lead generation, good. What else?
Oh, your 411 sheet.
Talking to people, face-to-face conversations.
So that's lead generation, good. So what else should be hard and fast on that calendar every week? Exercise, Jackie says. Yep, you can put that on there, your workout, good. What else?
Practice scripts.
Script practice, time block, that'd be excellent, love it. What else?
Adding to your data sheet.
Adding to your database and putting people in your command. Yeah, when you're new, yep, every day, part of your lead gen should include putting people into command into your database. Yes. What else? When you're new, what are you putting in your calendar? Or when Lisa's not new, but when she's refreshing, what should be on your calendar every week?
Education, classes.
Oh, yep. So yes, so we got Jing said, looking at the MLS and seeing what's new to the market. Yep, checking your inventory and what's happening, little market update. And then Lisa or Stephanie said training. So tell me, what kind of training? In my office, what do I think you should be doing every week?
We have that coaching.
So coaching, yes, I love coaching, and masterminds. So in the Keller Williams Foothills office, we have masterminds twice a week, one in the Evergreen office and one in the Conifer office. You only need to go to one, right? One. And so that's like an hour. If there's a lot to talk about, it might go an hour and a half. But I really think that masterminds is the pulse of the market. And I think every agent who's working, or even every agent who's not working, it's even more important that if you don't have a buyer or seller, you need to be in masterminds to hear what everyone else is saying. They're giving you, hey, this is what's going on with appraisals. I mean, you know, appraisals are taking 3 to 4 weeks, especially in the very rural places, right, Lisa? Like, holy cow, getting an appraisal in Alma or Fairplay or Como is going to be insane. And especially if it's a VA appraisal, for goodness sakes. I mean, you better write a long contract. So that makes you look smart when you're having conversations with your clients. So Ashley, thanks for jumping online, showing your face, love it. So masterminds is huge. So we're going to get into that a little bit. Time blocking is a piece of a day in the life of an agent. And so we talk about a lot of different things. Last week, we talked about, you know, having a one-page business plan, your GPS, and what that looks like transformed into a 411, and then what that looks like transformed into your calendar that you look at every day. Again, so since you guys started Ignite last week, how many of you have started time blocking things in your calendar? Oh, Jean, you're the only one. Just joking. She just became an American citizen, so she's been a little busy, and her husband had a procedure last week. So, you know, when you start your real estate career, that everything else in your world just blows up at the exact same time. Yeah, I love it. I love it. So you really want to start using a calendar. I don't care what calendar you use. If you're old school like me and you like a paper calendar, sweet. If you're using your phone, sweet. I really don't care, as long as you start to get in the habit and start using your calendar and time blocking. And then all you have to do is you never have to guess what you have to do at work. You just show up and you open up your calendar and it tells you what to do, right? Awesome. All right, so let's jump into sharing my screen and sharing with you guys what I got going on here. So, excellent. So please speak up. I'm going to hide your little faces so I can see my entire screen. So if you have a question or you want to make a comment, just unmute yourself, please. All right. So today we're doing a life of a real estate agent, which is different every day, right? Different every day. Again, you've seen this slide every single time because it's important. This is what we do. We put a little piece of this probably in every week, maybe not every day, but every week, right? So you guys can refer back to this and look at yourself and are you doing this every week in some way or another, right? Here's our roadmap. Oh, my favorite quote, I said it last week, but here it is. I love it. People do not decide their futures. They decide their habits, and their habits decide their futures, right? It's what you do. And I'm a huge TikTok person. I wish I wasn't, but I'm addicted to it right now. And this girl said, she goes, something similar to this, that when you choose something, you're choosing not to change it. And so it was a little different than that, but it's like the day you have yesterday, you chose it, every single piece of it. And a lot of people think, well, you know, whether they're not happy with their life or they're not happy with where they are, well, you chose yesterday. You chose everything that's on your calendar. You chose to hang around with the people you hung around with. We're no different than teenagers. Who do you surround yourself with, right? And if you're surrounding yourself with people who are driven and like-minded and forward-focused and positive, you're going to see all of that in your life. If you are not surrounding yourself with any of those kinds of people, you're going to stale out and burn out real quick in real estate before you even get started. And so probably my biggest piece of advice for all real estate agents who are new is to show up for a year. Give yourself 100% and show up for 1 year. If you decide, I really don't like it, it's not for me, that's fine. But if you don't show up to masterminds or classes or trainings, you're not really getting yourself involved in your business. And I would have to say, why did you join Keller Williams? That's why Keller Williams provides all of this. It's quite a bit at first, but it'll settle down in a little bit, right? And so give yourself 100% for 1 year and show up. You won't regret it. You won't. All right, moving on. So I don't know if this is a good enough calendar for you. I don't know. You know, you might want to make some adjustments to this. They even put a lunch hour in there for you. And when you're new, that's probably pretty realistic. I don't eat. I bring food, put it in the fridge, and I eat when I can. That's what my lunch looks like now, except for when I plan lunch dates. That can be a little expensive though after a while, so you got to temper that down. But planning a lunch date once a week, planning a coffee date once a week, excellent, right? So the cool thing about real estate and the cool thing about Keller Williams is you get to do whatever you want. We don't say, hey, you have to show up here every day, do script practice from 9 to 9:30, and then make calls from 9:30 to 11:30. We don't do that. No, we give you the grace and let you make up your own mind. And then I don't know if any calls happen because you're not forced to. But that's probably why you chose Keller Williams too, is that we're never going to make you show up Monday through Friday. We're never going to say, hey, you have to have a 100 call minimum. We don't do that. We let you decide. And so you do get to decide. You get to decide your schedule. So when you look at this little calendar, tell me what you like in it. What part do you like about this?
I like the diversity of it.
Setting aside time to focus on.
Jackie says she likes the diversity of this. You mean that you're not doing the same thing?
Exactly. Looking down.
Mm-hmm.
The hard part, I guess, is sticking to that time frame. Because I know as a teacher, you kind of have that same
Mm-hmm.
schedule with
Mhm.
like areas. some things that just overlap and just
Mhm.
depending on what's going on, same exact. In
Mhm.
here, it's just, it's just trying to stick to the times,
So she said
It's
just
hard.
trying to stick to the schedule. Okay. What else?
I don't know if other people are like this, but I tend to just sit and like spin in a circle if I don't have a plan. And I respond very well to just having things set up in blocks and like, if you can't figure out what to do, you just know, you look and it says marketing. So you have projects of marketing, you start working on those. And I also love having a start time and an end time because I'm super goal oriented that way. And I like stopping doing something too. So I find this for my personality, I find this really helpful.
And let me ask you a question. What if I told you only had to work 3 days a week or 3 hours a day and you had to leave and you couldn't work? You had to work only 3 hours every day. Do you think you'd get some stuff done?
You'd
Mhm.
also be European.
European? Wouldn't it be fabulous? So I want to ask any of you, when you have that day that's ram-packed and you've got a million things in the calendar, and then you're also leaving your house and you decide to throw in some laundry and wipe down the counters before you go and you get 20 million things done. And then there's the other day where you don't have anything on your schedule and you get nothing done at your house. I mean, is anybody else like that or is it just me? The more I have kind of like packed in there, some reason like I'm on it, like I want to bust it out and I'm super motivated. So what if you time blocked 3 hours a day to work? You have to give it 100%. Do you think you'd be a little bit more purposeful with the work that you did? Would you screw around as much? Maybe, maybe not. Of all these things on here, I want you to notice that the very first thing on here is building time, motivation building time. You got to get yourself ramped up. Any athlete that goes to a game warms up, prepares mentally, physically, right? And that's what we do here. We mentally and physically get ourselves prepared. We look at the MLS, see what's new on the market. We open up Command. We figure out who we're calling that day. We might read a couple quotes. We may have listened to masterminds for a little bit, got a little intel, a little insight. All right, my brain's churning. I'm thinking, all right, I'll make some calls. And the second thing on here is the lead generation. That if you did nothing else but 1 and 2, I would say your work was done for the day. If you lost control of the rest of your schedule, because during that daily success habit of lead generating, you got an appointment, or you set up a lunch, or you had to go and maybe you wanted to go drive by a house, set a preview. If you only did 1 and 2 on here, I'd call it good. The rest of the stuff is still good, and you're going to want to do that. You're going to want to have your marketing prepared because you're going to want to have it look good. You're going to want to review over some contracts and attend trainings so you can learn and understand how to have a better conversation tomorrow, right? So if you could build an ideal schedule, let me see what I'm supposed to be doing next. Yeah. I want you to take 5 minutes right now on a blank piece of paper or on your computer, or whatever, and I want you to write out your ideal schedule right now. I'm only giving you 5 minutes because we don't have much time. So if you could do a Monday through Friday, well, actually we work every day. So the days that you're going to work, some of you might take like Monday, Wednesday off, I don't know. But if you were going to have ideally a whole week schedule, So let's put in Saturdays, because some of you are probably like, I'd like to do an open house. I want you to put it ideally. What would that look like? Workout every morning at 8. I don't know.
I actually made mine this morning.
Who's on here?
It's Brittany.
Hey, good. So you made yours this morning. Hi, Devontae. Just saw you on here too.
Hi.
Hi, I'm driving. Yeah, structure really helps me be more productive. The only thing that I kind of seem to struggle with is that it seems to kind of take a long time to get every task done, because if I if I work out, then like, okay, so then I'm going to cook at home. But if I cook at home, I have to put away all the dishes. And it's something like, once everything's done, it seems to flow through faster. I think my biggest challenge is trying to figure out what time I need to get up every day to actually get it done.
Mhm.
And kind of prioritizing stuff, because sometimes stuff pops up. So, but I put like workout in the morning. I want to try and be into the office by like 9, and get a lunch in there, get my calls going. And I think that's going to work for me. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, and I want you to think a little bit more simply. I mean, I like what you said, Brittany. I do. And I want you to remember, give yourself some grace this first year and start out simply. Don't ram pack it full of like 20 things, okay? So what if you had 3 things that were a priority, and no matter what, you wanted to get those done, and that if you got to do the rest of this stuff, that would be great, right? But things do take longer when you're new. They just do. I don't know why. Like your first contract, like will take up your whole week. I'm not sure why, but it does. And you got to talk to people about your contract. You got to check in with Kevin or whoever's reviewing your contracts. If Margaret reviews your contracts, does she review your contracts down there at Avenues? Yes, Margaret does. Okay. So things take a little bit more time. You want to give yourself grace and not overwhelm yourself. And so maybe you only have, 2 hours of training a week, 6 hours of lead gen, and I mean, I don't know. Sorry to cut in now. Yeah. So we're building an ideal schedule, not like a workaholic schedule, right? So are you going to get your workouts in? So, because after Ignite, you can go back to whatever you want your ideal schedule to be, right? And so you can work out when you want and work when you want, put in trainings here and there, okay? Make sure you got your kid time or feeding yourself, and, if you got to make dinner every night for your family and you got to be home at 5, you got to be home at 5. And so really keep that a priority. That is a priority. Don't let that slip. If I haven't told you this already, you better take care of your relationships that you have. If you're new to this can be so exciting and overwhelming. Like you're going to be addicted to the MLS like I am to TikTok right now. You just want to sit and look at it and screw around. It's so awesome. Cyberstock people, it's fabulous. Yeah. I want to sell my own house. I want to move. I want to move all the time. Okay. So, simple question. Can you make that schedule that you just created, can you make that a reality? Can you start that next week? Jing's like, I'm going to start in August. Yes.
as soon as I can do it first, just let it down, let it just go, and
Yes.
then I can focus on it.
Yeah.
But I can't
Mm-hmm.
like kinda, so some of them, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
because I'm that kind of person, I need more time to, I don't want to be in a rush to do things. I want to be prepared enough prepared.
Yes.
Every morning I get up earlier than my husband, so I have half hour flexible time, extra time to prepare for my day.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Good. And so, right, you know yourself.
So,
And if you know you're like someone that really likes to plan and prepare, right? So what do you need to do so you're going to feel good about it? If you're like me, you kind of like to wing it, even though you get anxious every once in a while because you're like, I should have had this done. But it's, it comes together at the end, right? So, all right, let's move on then. We're going to go back to this so I can try to stay on the timeline that I'm supposed to stay on. Surprise. Okay, so I'd love for you to try to pick a schedule and stick with it, right? Sometimes when we try something new, it's a little uncomfortable. And so you have to give it some time for you to adjust. And so I think it's fair to give a schedule a month's time for you to get a little bit more comfortable. And then maybe you're going to change one thing, or you're going to add something, or you're going to adjust it, right? And so by month 6 in the business, you're going to know so much more. You're going to understand how things work a little bit better, and you're going to feel a little bit more comfortable with your timeline. All right. Okay. So there we go. Setting your weekly and daily objectives. Good. We talked about that. This 411 is super important. And so at the beginning, we talked about all the things that real estate agents do every day. And I really said it's things real estate agents do every week. Every week, I look at my 411 and what were the most important things that I needed to do. I'm going to flash forward here a little bit, right? I'm going to focus on my 20%. So the 20% of the things that lead me to the most success, and we already decided, are probably the first 2 things we do every day. I plan and prepare for my lead generation, and then I do my lead generation. And for me, I don't like making a lot of phone calls. So my schedule doesn't look like plan and prepare for lead generation, do lead generation every day. I put things into my calendar, big group meetups where I can meet people face to face, and that's what I like to do. I have this ongoing email thing that I already have set up. Right? For you guys, you could put people on smart plans so they get touches once a month, every 6 weeks. And that way you don't have to do it. Couldn't you set it and forget it? It's like a crock pot. Set it and forget it, and it makes your life easier. Yes. And so plan those things out in your 411, but it's different throughout the week. And then maybe one of those weeks, you're going to do an open house. So the week before the open house, you're planning, preparing, coming up with ideas. Are you ready? The week of the open house, you got stuff to do. You could door knock. You could do some great things. And then the week after the open house, you do follow-up. So that gives you a lot of phone calls. So if you were filling this out every week, you never have to guess what you're doing. You just show up and work during that time you've allotted for yourself. And you are gonna like that. That's gonna make you feel good. Any questions about the 411? Okay. So then we have just committing to the 80-20 principle. Is that there's just these couple things that make the biggest difference in your business. So do not be confused with trying to feel prepared with all your listing presentations before you make phone calls, because without that phone call, you're never going to have it. And when you make those phone calls and someone says, yeah, I'd love for you to come over tomorrow, urgency strikes and you get it done good. And then you're going to really learn even better because it's realistic for you, right? How do we learn the best? It's through real trial and error, right? it's not right now in this class. You're going to forget most of what I'm saying to you today. The most you would learn is if you had to write a real contract for someone, if you had to go on an appointment yourself for real, if you had to show property for real. Wouldn't you learn the most at that point? So the only way to give yourself those opportunities is to make calls with people, because all the practice and the script practice is great, but it's when you're actually there face to face thinking on your feet that it makes a huge difference for you. All right, so setting your objectives. Does this slide bother anybody else that the whole word doesn't fit in there? No? I'm like, how did they just not make this bigger? So, right, this is the 80% of things that would bother me. I hate it. So you want to be timely with your objectives. You need to identify them. These are like SMART goals. Anybody ever heard of SMART goals? I can't think of what SMART actually stands for, but they need to be your goals and the things that you're doing throughout the week. They need to be identifiable. They need to be metric driven. So you need to be able to measure it. I want to add 20 people to my database every week. So at the bottom of this 411 sheet, I would have a measurable goal that said 20 contacts added every week. So by the end of the month, I have 80 new people added into my database. And then once you run out of contacts, well, of course your goal changes, right? I don't add 20 people a week. I don't add 20 people a month. I'm done with that part. I got everybody uploaded. And then if I meet someone during the week or, I get a new lead, then I add that person, right? So, but for now, for everybody new, you want to add 20 people a week. You want to do one open house a month. That's measurable. You want to create your listing presentation. Check. You want to set up previews. I don't know. What else do you guys want to put on your 411? What other things would go on there? You want to tour neighborhoods. Great.
Like over the weekend, I was all at Squirrel Pass, and I didn't I've never been up here at all. I've lived here for 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
So just seeing the style of homes, the type of homes, how it changes as you go up that
Awesome.
road to the top of the mountain. It was just kind of nice seeing what kinds of homes, the feel for the neighborhoods. It changes, it's a different feel when you first go on the road, and it's a different feel.
Great.
On the top of the road.
So tell me, what does that look like as a regular habit or objective in your 411 every month?
Well, for me, it's a weekly thing. I want to get it in there every week, at least twice a week.
How do you know where you're going?
Well, I know the areas that I just haven't been in, I'm not familiar with.
So do you write those down with the?
Yeah, the different neighborhoods. So like the Woodlands.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be on my schedule. I'm going to go check out the Woodlands. I've heard a lot about it. I pass it all the time on 285. I'm going to go check back there and just drive around and get
Great.
a feel for the neighborhood, so I can talk to clients. If they say I like this area, I have some input about it. How close it is to the parks, how close it is to the highway, how all those little things that people want to know who aren't familiar with the area, but I haven't even explored yet. So just
Let me ask you this. Let's stack that habit. So every week Jackie is going to tour a new neighborhood. She's going to say if she was really filling out this 411. In week 1, she's going to spend time on Wednesdays or day. I don't know. She works out, and then while she's all sweaty and in her workout clothes, she's just going to drive to a new neighborhood, see the parks, see kind of the street names, just look at, kind of what is it like there. And for us in the mountains, it's a big deal. And so on Wednesdays, she's going to drive a neighborhood. On week 1, she's going to go to the Woodlands. On week 2, she's going to go to Highwan. On week 3, she's going to go to the Island. On week 4, she's going to go to somewhere, Evergreen Meadows. And let's have it stack that. So not only does she tour those neighborhoods, but then what else? What other thing could you do that would make an impact in your business?
Door knocking in those neighborhoods.
Okay, good. You could door knock in those neighborhoods, but you wouldn't do it on Wednesdays after your workout. But yes, you could door knock the neighborhood. What else could you do?
You could tell your current database that, something interesting about the neighborhood.
Yes. And how would you do that? Let's be specific with our tasks and objectives. How would you do that?
With a smart plan.
Okay. Okay. You could, but a smart plan has to be like already prepared and rolled out. And so you could, what else could you do though to promote or talk about that particular neighborhood that week?
I feel like that'd be a good opportunity to use whatever like social media you have just to kind of
Mm-hmm.
to everyone, just find out some good facts about the neighborhood or a specific property and then just post it.
Yep. And so you could stack those little things and make it do double the work for you. So you're learning, but you're also pushing out a touch on social media every week on a habitual basis. And you're giving like little highlights. This is the cutest park. I saw a deer go across the road. I mean, that happens every day. It's not a big deal for us up here. So let's think about somebody in the city like, oh my gosh, the best little coffee shop right here on the corner, totally hidden. Ooh, and especially if you're a foodie and that's what you're going to do. The neighborhood you're going to go to in the city is like, love this coffee shop, love this, sandwich shop, whatever. And so how could you stack those things to where you're kind of creating your own business hype, you're creating your own kind of interest in doing something different, where you could either just post a picture or you could shoot a video. You could shoot a video of yourself, or you could just shoot a video looking out away from yourself, right? If we're stacking this, working out, driving a neighborhood, taking a couple photos just on your phone, right? And doing that, then could you get back home or the day before, you're like, what neighborhoods are for sale, under contract, or closed recently in this neighborhood that I'm going to go to? So I understand the value of where I'm driving around. How awesome are you going to learn and do marketing and all that in one day? So I want you to start thinking about that, how you can layer these things and make the things that you want to do a little bit bigger. I want you to think a little bit bigger. And just because like if you did that with an open house, I'm going to open house one time a month on the third week, preferably, because there's so much inventory right now. Like you get to pick and choose, but you don't. But I'm going to plan one open house every month. The week before, I'm going to research it, just educate myself. If you have that luxury to have a week ahead notice. And then the week before, no matter what, I'm always going to time block time on Thursday night to door knock at least 20 houses. Or if you're in the city, you can do more, probably, or post flyers. Or I'm always going to do a neighbor. Thursday, I'm going to door knock. Friday, I'm going to do a neighborhood open house only for the neighbors. And then Saturday, I'm going to do it. And that is a part of your business plan, is to blow up your open houses. And so it's taking one idea and making it bigger, not 100 things. This is the challenge to you, and the freedom is you get to pick and choose what you want to do and not be overwhelmed by all the chatter and all the emails and all the classes where we tell you how to do all these different things. You need to narrow your focus, pick a couple things, and make them awesome. Just a couple things, but make them awesome and do them really well. Can you do that with 2 or 3 ideas? So how can you layer it and make your life a little bit easier? As a mom, and I hate to use mom examples, but it's so helpful. Like I just try to put things in order and not do too much. Like, you habit stack at home. Everybody habit stacks at home. While I make my coffee, I'm also going to do this. While I'm doing laundry, I also kind of do this, right? And so we do that in our life without even really realizing that we do these little habit stacks. Atomic Habits is an excellent book. Okay. Okay, so we've just been talking about this time blocking, putting your big rocks in your calendar, all those other little things. You don't do it, no big deal, brush it off. If you did the big stuff, that was a good day of work. Good job, right? Being accountable. Hey, you get an email from me every Monday if you're in my office. I'm sorry, I'm not ever meaning to annoy you. I'm helping you develop some self-accountability and tracking your numbers. That's what I said I do every Sunday night, Monday. I look at my 411 and see what did I do. And I have been able to develop and establish, I need to go on a listing appointment, get a listing taken, have an exclusive right to buy, get somebody under contract and close. Those are the things I measure. And by the end of the month, I hope it totals up that I went on to 2 listing appointments a month. I took at least one of them. I had 2 closings and I made a lot of money. So I'm always measuring how much money I made because I need to make money to pay my bills and to go on the vacation I'm going on tomorrow, right? And because that's how I want to live my life. And so I have control over these things. And if it's the end of the month and I do not have any appointments I went on, there's nothing I should be doing but calling, going to see people. But I don't want to just call randomly. I'm going to think of the people. Who do I know that has a senior this year? Who do I know that has a kid that just graduated and that's the last kid to graduate? Who do I know that is having another baby? Who do I know that's getting married? Who do I know that's going through a life change? Who told me that they're thinking about getting another job and they might have to move? I want to look through my database and act in order of priority instead of just randomly calling everyone and thinking if I get lucky. I might want to plan an open house on someone else's listing if I don't have one. I want to do whatever it takes to get my goals, my measurable goals met, okay? And so I have a coach. He's a coach's coach, not an agent's coach. He's a coach's coach that says, Jody, what are you doing with your new agents? This is what I'm doing. He goes, how's it going? What are your numbers? I have to track numbers for you. That's what I got to track too. He says, are you doing these activities? Are you making these adjustments? Right? So I talk to him twice a month and I love him. And he says things to me, just like I did with you guys. Why? You think your schedule is so overwhelming? Yes, this is what I said to him. Yes, I'm overwhelmed. I double book myself all the time. I say yes to everything and I'm stressed out. He says, Jody, why don't you just write out your ideal schedule? Like it's rocket science or something. And I said, huh. And he goes, I want you to write up your ideal work schedule and I want you to email it to me. Okay, so that was my homework. And he's like, he emails me back, okay, now can you really do this? And I was like, yes, of course I could. Right? What do I want to choose? Do I want to choose chaos or do I want to choose to live by a reasonable schedule? I want to live by a reasonable schedule. I want to choose to hit my goals. I want to choose to do what I said I was going to do. I hope these are the things. I'm saying them. I hope these are what you're thinking too for yourself in your business. I'm going to choose a reasonable schedule that I can actually do. I'm not going to stress myself out. I'm going to talk to people who want to talk to me. I want to work with nice and level-headed buyers and sellers, right? So having some kind of accountability is awesome. So why don't we share real quick? Who are you accountable to? Sharon.
Well, mostly myself. I mean, I have motivator people in my life, but I'm accountable to myself. Right now, that's it.
And that's fair. We are accountable to ourselves. What is it like though when we say out loud our goals to someone else? Does that make you more accountable right then and there when you say it out loud? Because we think a bunch of crazy shit in our head all the time that we don't say out loud, and we're glad nobody hears that, right? But if nobody hears it, then we never let anybody down when we don't do that. But when we say something out loud and someone else knows that we said it, they might remind you. Mm-hmm. I thought you said you were going to start doing making dinner every night. No, never said that. So I want you just to think about that and how that ties you to a commitment to yourself. And in all truth, it's just words, right? But we are less likely to break that commitment when we say it out loud to one other person, even if they have. I'm a coach. It doesn't matter what you say. Like, I'm here for you to support you in what you say, but I will hold you accountable to what you say, not to what I ask you to do. They're not my goals. I'm not paying your bills, right? So, Stephanie, who are you accountable to?
So far, I'm just accountable to my dog, but Jody, I've just decided I'm going to turn to Linda, who I just met last week, and say, Linda, can I be accountable to you?
Yes.
Because she will kick my ass. I know this about her.
Fabulous.
And we're Facebook friends, so you will?
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
Right. And it's really easy. The person you're accountable to, all they have to do is this.
Yeah.
That's it. They just have to listen. They don't have to do anything. They probably don't have to say anything to you. All right. So Linda, who are you accountable to, Linda?
I'm accountable to myself, which includes my bank account. That one's a big one for me. And I have a team lead as well that I am accountable for. So those are the big ones for me.
Good. What about you, Lisa?
I have a crazier life. I'm accountable to 7 employees, about 100 vacation rental guests a month, 28 homeowners, an ex-husband, a soon-to-be new husband, 2 children, and my real estate company. So got a lot to work on right now. Stresses me out. I'm gonna do it though. It's gonna be amazing.
And let me say that, so every week I email everybody in my coaching program and say, hey, how many appointments did you go on? How many agency agreements did you get signed? Did you get anybody under contract? And did you have any closings? And I think it's stressful. Oh, and what? Yeah. And if you like chocolate or vanilla or fruit, yeah, I have a couple other random ones in there for fun. I think it's stressful to some new agents to fill that out every week and always put 0, 0, 0. My hope is that you get a little feisty and you get a little fired up and say, I want to put a 1 in one of those next week. I want to add some numbers, right? And it's not meant to stress you out. You already know there's things you have to do, but the only little thing you have to really start with is setting that appointment. Appointments are probably the biggest thing. And the thing that you control most is how many people you reach out to that week. Who do you text? Who do you call? Who do you see face to face? So that you can set one appointment. So it's all this little conversion You know, you make all these calls and it converts into an appointment, and an appointment converts into that agency agreement. And so you have to see this little path that it goes down. And then someday, when you're filling out your 411 like I do every Sunday or Monday, you're like, I almost got a check in all the boxes. Almost. You know, and I'm like, oh my God, that's like a miracle. It's like the trifecta. It's a turkey and bowling, right? Like you are feeling like a rock star. And some weeks I'm like, I'm going to do better next week. I got zeros myself, and next week I'm going to do better, right? And so that's it. And so if you keep that positive mindset, I'm going to do better next week. If you give 100%, and I know I'm going to do better next week because I'm going to give 100%. I'm going to call a lot of people, and I'm going to be really intentional about who I'm talking to this week so that I can make that happen for myself. I know I have power to make those things happen for myself. Do you have the power to make those things happen so that when you are looking at the face of the person you're accountable to, you feel proud to tell them, I know you didn't ask, but you know what? I had a killer week last week. Right? And the coach is a person that you can brag to. I like it. I'll get a text every once in a while from people in my program, and they're going to be like, hey, I just got an appointment for tomorrow. I am super happy for you. I am. That's exciting. If you call me on Saturday night at 6 o'clock and you're like, I need to write a contract, I'm freaking thrilled for you. I mean, we got a lot of work to do, so I might not be that excited because I know there's going to be a little work. But I'm excited. I'm glad you called me, right? Let's do this. So you have a lot of support. You have more support than you think. You have a lot more people that you're kind of accountable to, but you're right, Sharon. You're really only accountable to yourself. And that's a make or break deal on how proud you feel about yourself and how you feel about yourself and your business, right? All right. Let's go back to looking at what's next, what we're supposed to talk about.
I think that's what business plan is
Oh.
about. So I feel like I'm always looking at that business plan and how to map out where I want to be and what I want to have accomplished by a certain time. I feel compelled to stick to that.
And it's true, your business plan, and that's why, so I do business planning every quarter. We have a business plan at the beginning of November I do for 2022. And put what's the big picture. And then if you hit those, am I doing this? And you just go back to that and you put all those things on your 411 every month. That's how I know what to track and what's important. So yeah, you have to have a business plan. And so something to think about if you need to revisit that, maybe take some time and time block that to really look at your business plan. And for you that are new, like you're going to get some clarity around it though. The longer you do this and the more you learn, you're going to get a little bit better clarity more, as time goes on. So it's going to get better and better. Okay. So there we go. Accountability, sharing your goals, plan your check-ins, make a date, right? So that is how you get the most accountability, whoever you're meeting with. And now that my husband just joined my team last year, and this is the only way we pay our bills, yeah. And he doesn't like to sit down and go over this, but I feel more secure every week when I'm like, what did we do last week? What do we have coming up this week? I want to know that we can pay for the trip. Well, the trip is already paid for, but I just want to have comfort and stability. Does anybody else want that here? And so we follow up every week. And I know my coach will call me twice a month. He calls me. It does make it easier. So you might want to plan that in with your people, whoever you're accountable to, your dog, your Facebook friend, whoever. All right. Anything that anybody wants to share, we'll take a couple minutes for this, that you wanted to share that you've learned during Ignite? We'll go the whole Ignite process so far. Is there anything that's really made a big impact for you? Oh, Elizabeth's on here, and I'm going to turn this around so y'all can see my people. But go ahead.
There. Oh, hello. Jody, is someone there gonna go?
No, I mean, they might, but everybody's
I
seen
don't-
her.
Okay, cool, I don't mind going first. I have to say, this is the 2.5 time I've taken Ignite. I took it online in February when I was just starting, and I felt so overwhelmed, and I kind of had a lot of negative trash talk in my mind about it, like, oh my God, I'm never gonna be able to do that, no way. And for some reason, and I think it's because I'm a little bit more in control of the systems and processes now that I'm a few months in, but it's starting to really click with me how this could have a really positive impact on getting my business started. So I guess I just wanted to encourage anybody who this is your first time through Ignite, or even your second time and it's still not catching on to you, keep doing it, because you'll get to a point where these really practical things are going to start making a big difference for you.
Today is also her very first closing.
Oh! I'm going to
Congratulations.
employment, so it works.
That is always awesome. Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you for saying that, Stephanie, because a lot of times new agents think that they only have to do Ignite once, when there's a lot of content here. I don't see how anyone could possibly retain the information. And I mean, really, you're always learning. So there's always something different that an instructor says, something. So thank you for that feedback, and congratulations to you. That's awesome. Any other ahas or something that you wanted to mention that you've learned during Ignite?
I'll share, Jody. I think I've mentioned this before, so some of you might have already heard it, but one of my big ahas, I came from property management where I'm renting people apartments, so I have this really short window of time to get them to like me, like the product I have available, and get them to commit to something. So one of my big ahas through Ignite has been just how casual conversations, follow-ups, connections, and touch points should be, so that, you know, we don't scare people off, right? Like, we don't want them to feel like, oh, Linda's only reaching out to sell me something or sell my house from under me or something to.
They all froze because even Elizabeth is frozen. Oh, there we go. You're frozen. All right. Oh, there we go. Yes, now. Okay. You were just saying really about how everything's casual. It's
Yes, casual. So it's valuable for me to have heard it multiple times throughout Ignite already, as well as like I'm really fighting my muscle memory of like really diving quickly into, you know, wanting to get all the details and all of their information right away, which, you know, for such big transactions and such big deals and big movements in people's lives, it doesn't work the same, right? And that's one of the biggest ahas for me.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Good. Love it.
Yeah.
Who else? All right. Well, good. Well, let's keep going then, and see what else we're going to talk about and get my screen to work. There we go. Share screen. Okay. All right. So daily success habits. Love this. So our goals today are to add 10 contacts, have 10 conversations, handwrite 10 notes, and preview 10 homes a week, either in person or just get on the MLS and look in your market watch area. Okay, so let's do a little script practice going off of what Linda was talking about. And, you know, we want to choose relevant scripts from a Spark script book to focus on. Whatever. So you got all these scripts, right? You could read that it's in the Ignite toolkit. Everybody remember that? And if we go over an example, and I'm going to share an example with you that I just got today. You guys, I really want you to write your own scripts. I mean, it is not that hard. Just like Linda said, I mean, we're just talking to people. These are just our people, right? But if you end up getting like phone numbers for like neighborhoods, and you're using RedX and you're getting phone numbers related to the neighborhood you want to farm or whatever, I mean, you still got to pick a relevant script, and it needs to make sense. So it's not like I won't go into it. So I'm going to choose a script and I'm going to go over this. And so I'm going to go over something that I would make a phone call about today. Is that good? So I'm going to share an example with you. We're going to stop the share again. And, oops. And I'm going to try to share my screen with the people. I don't know why that doesn't work for you all. I'm so sorry. But let me do this with Salvador. Is that okay? Okay. So Salvador, we're friends, and I'm going to call you. And so we shouldn't even look at each other. Just joking. So I'll just have you unmute yourself, and I'll call you. Ring, ring.
Hi, how are you?
Hey, Salvador, it's Jody. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good. About yourself?
I'm really good. Gosh, I haven't seen you for months now. How's the family?
They're good. Kids are growing up. Everybody's keeping busy. How about yourself?
Same here. Kids growing up, everybody's good, doing well. You know, and so I wanted to reach out to you today and let you know that I know you guys moved to Conifer a couple years ago, and last summer we didn't get to have anything because of COVID. But I have this great family-friendly event that's happening the last weekend of July. Have you heard of Elevation Celebration?
No, I have not. Do you mind telling me a little bit more about it?
Yeah, so it's a 2-day street fair, and they have live music and vendors and beer gardens, and they have a whole entire kids center, like bouncy houses and magicians and all kinds of fun kid stuff. Like there's this little train thing, and I just thought this would be perfect for your family. I wanted to email you a link about it so you could get all the details. Is that something that would work for you?
Yeah, I'd really like to check that out. Maybe I can move my schedule around and have my kids do something fun.
That would be great. I know, and I think it'd be a great break for you. And it's rain or shine. And even we had it one year, and it totally poured, but people just came into the beard garden. Kids were running around. You know, kids love the rain, and it was just fun. And I know this year, I know we're going to have a great turnout. It's going to be awesome, and we got a great lineup of bands. So, well, cool. Well, then I'll email you this link. You know, how's everything else going for you? How's work? I wondered, you know, I thought you said you were going to start a new job.
Yeah, so I just recently got my job into real estate.
Oh my gosh. And what do you think so far?
So far, it is a lot to wrap my mind around. And what I'm learning is to find my niche, what I'm good at, and focus on one thing and become an expert at it and see how it works out for me.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for you. That sounds awesome. And so, like, what do you think, like, with a niche? What are you thinking about right now?
I think I do very well with person to person, and I really like co-hosting with open houses. So hopefully I can get my own open house, and that's my main thing, learning how to fluctuate my business from just open houses, trying to do a couple door knocks before the open house, a couple door knocks after the open house, and learn which neighborhoods to communicate to and stuff like that. That's a big one for
Oh,
me.
yeah, that is a great idea. So what area are you really trying to work in? What neighborhoods?
So I grew up in Westminster, so I'd really like to stick in that area just so I can give that local perspective to anybody who's either wanting to move into the area or wants to know more about the area, or anybody who just wants to stay in the area. And it really helps to relate with people.
Oh, I think that's awesome. Yeah, I think you do a great job at that. So, well, good. Well, I wish you the best of luck. And I hope you have a great day. I'm going to shoot you over an email later today, and hopefully I'll see you at LSL.
Sounds great. Thank you. It was nice talking with you.
Yeah, you too. All right. See ya. Yeah. So just easy call, right? They call that a Ford sandwich. So you call somebody or you're talking to somebody and it's just casual. You talk to them about family, occupation, recreation, or dreams. Ford, Ford. Then you kind of work in, hey, I'm working today, and so I wanted to give you a call, just tell you about LSL. It's this awesome event, blah, 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 or whatever your call is. Or just, hey, just wanted to let you know I got a new listing. Or I'm working today. I'm working on growing my database and just wanted to reach out to people and see if you know of anybody that's thinking about buying or selling. No? Oh, well, you know what? If you come across anybody, I'd love to work with anybody that you're friends with. And so please feel free to share my email and my contact information. In fact, I want to email it to you today. Is that okay? Great. Okay, good. Well, thanks so much. And so what else? What else is going on in your world? Right? Follow it up again with Ford. Right? Ford, business, Ford. Cool. Great. Tell the family hi. Can't wait. I'd love to see your kids. I bet they're so big now. Love to see them at Elevation Celebration. It's a totally free event. Well, until you get there to pay for everything. But, right? And so you could do that with recreation, right? Family, occupation, recreation, or dreams. You don't do all of them. You just pick something. How do you know that person? Our kids are friends, or we used to work together, or we like to paddleboard, or I cyber stalked them on Facebook and I saw that they're trying to plan a dream to Ireland, right? Right. Somebody just told me that they got a listing appointment and they didn't know this person very well. So they got on Facebook, cyber stalked them, and could see, what did she see that they liked? She could see that they loved cats or something. And so when she went and showed up to the listing appointment, she took a little bag of cat goodies. And the lady knew. She goes, "You cyber stalked me, didn't you?" And she's like, "I did." That lady loved it. Right? So it's not really hard. How do you know people? That's the connection you'll have. So you start with that connection, talking a little work if you want, right? And then wrap it up with a little connection. Well, I've been paddleboarding. I'd love to see you out at the lake. I've been going to this new spot, or I've gone to Wellington Lake and Bailey, blah, blah, blah. I don't know, right? You just got to, when you pull up your contacts on your phone, we do 10 a day. Yeah. Now look at who's in my contacts, or if you're working alphabetically through your contacts. I don't know, however you're inputting 10 contacts a day. You pull them up. How do you know them? Think about it. Okay, this is what I'm going to talk about when I call them. That's it, right? So right now, I want you to write down the name of the person that you're going to call today, right? Where are you at in your database input, right? So if you're uploading everything into Command, it should all be alphabetical in there, but maybe it's random. And so who have you not added yet? What the? Oh, I don't even know who that is. So you could text people, but that's not the quickest way to get a date, right? I think if you get a great response with texting, fine. But if all you're doing ever is texting people, the real question is, how are you getting results? If you're texting people and you're getting results and setting appointments, great job. If you are not getting appointments, you need to call people and get used to that. That's part of our job. If you got into real estate because you like to talk to people, but you won't call someone on the phone, right? Now, if people don't want to talk to you, they won't answer their phone. You know this because you do this, right? We have a lot of phone numbers tracked already that we already know who is calling us, right? And some people, I got friends, like they never answer their phone if they don't recognize the number, but they're not very social people. As a real estate agent, you should answer your phone every single time. You don't know who is giving out your phone number, and you don't know how many people they gave phone numbers to, right? So say my best friend gave out my phone number to me and somebody else that she knows that works out in Aurora, because I don't really work in Aurora. But my best friend gave out 2 phone numbers for this agent and then the other agent she knows out in Aurora. But if I don't answer my phone because I'm like, I screen my calls, please don't do that. You just never know who's calling you, right? So always answer the phone. And you get a lot of junk, right? I get a lot of spam. Do you guys? Do you get a lot of crap calls? Well, all you do is hang up. It's not a waste of your time. That's never a waste of your time. We delete all the junk emails that you get. You just delete them. And you hear it's like somebody about Visa and you're, what, blah, blah, blah. Just hang up. But you should always answer your phone. And so if you're calling people and they don't want to talk to you because that's what you're afraid of, or I don't know what you'd be afraid of, right? Is it that if they don't answer, well, then you just leave them a message. Do you have a script message? No. All right, let's do one right now. Linda, this is what your script message is for each and every one of you. Hey, so-and-so. Hey, I was hoping to get a hold of you today. Just wanted to ask you a question. Give me a call back when you get a chance. That's it. That's it. Don't go on and on. Don't call and give your voicemail message of what you wanted to, I was just calling you today because I wanted you to know about blah, blah, blah. I mean, and you could do that. I mean, it is your choice, but we do have an easy voicemail script. Hey, Lisa, this is Jody at Keller Williams. If it's only business, you might say Keller Williams, but if you're friends, you probably are not going to plug Keller Williams every time you answer the phone. This is Jody with Keller Williams. When I know it's my best friend, she's going to hate me. She's going to hate me, right? She's shut up, Jody. That's what she would say that. Do you have that best friend? They're the best. So you just have that little script. So I want you to pick the one person. Everybody's going to pick somebody they're going to make a call. We're all going to make a call, right? In about 3 minutes. Pick the person you're going to call, write down their name. And then I want you to write out the script or the ideas or the basic idea of what you're going to say to this person. I'm going to choose. Oh, yeah. Okay. I've chosen my person and I know what I'm going to talk to them about. I'm going to call somebody I saw at the chamber the other day and I didn't get a chance to talk to them. And I'm leaving. They're doing this big promotional thing at their office, at their place of business. And I'm not going to be there because I'm going on vacation. But I just want to follow up. Hey, saw that you're doing this big deal. I bet that's awesome. How's it going? Just ask her to talk to me about it. I just want to make a touch. She knows I'm in real estate. My job is to remind people I'm in real estate. It's not their job to remember me. And I don't know if this happens for you guys. You drive by something, you drive by a store, or you see an ad and you're like, Oh yeah, I wanted to pick something up from there. And just because seeing something triggers like, oh yeah, I need to stop here and get this. And that's why you buy that. You see somebody with a blizzard and you're like, I need to go to Dairy Queen. Do you ever see anybody? I swear I'll see people eating ice cream and I'm like, I really want some right now. So that's what we do, right? That's why people have commercials. And that's why they have those commercials that replay and replay and replay. Remember, don't forget me, you should go buy this. We are the commercial. We need to remind people in print, in email, in texts, in phone call, and face-to-face that we do real estate. We want to be top of mind when someone else says to them, I'm thinking about buying or selling, right? So that's why eventually, after you guys have loaded everybody into your database and you've told everybody you're in real estate, then you start just making these little calls that I don't even have to say. If you're thinking about, if you know someone that's thinking about buying or selling, I don't have to say this to these people anymore. They know what I already do, right? So it's just really checking in. How you doing? How's business? So hopefully I've been talking the whole time. Did you identify your person and do you know what you're going to call about? Does anybody else need more time? Awesome. 5 minutes. If you're still talking to them after 5 minutes, continue on. I don't care if you missed what I'm going to say next. So everybody, let's go make your call. And then once you're done, we're going to come back and I want to hear what happened. I bet it's going to be a piece of cake. All right, go ahead, everybody. And I'm going to mute myself too. See you in Okay, back to this. So we're just talking about, you know, like how some things lead to another. And so, and especially if you work in an office, as Linda and Stephanie can totally attest to, it's very distracting to talk to other people. I mean, I know. I mean, it's a lot of fun. Sometimes I've wasted like half an hour talking to somebody else, you know, how's it going? What's happening? Blah, 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 and not sticking to my time block, and just how that can really be distracting. And I share an office now with two other girls, and one, she never comes in. But if Rachel and I are in there together, we'll be like, okay, 10 more minutes. I'm going to tell you one more story, and this is what happened, and blah, 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 blah. And then we're like, and then we have to work. Okay. And so we help each other, and we stop. But we also do, like, say, hey, I'm going on this listing appointment, and I know they've already pressured me on the phone to talk about yada, 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 you know, or whatever. And so how would I really run through this? And so her and I will do script practice right there and kind of go back and forth. So that in times it can be very helpful. But the thing is to make sure you go back to your time block, And sometimes, you know, it's okay to tell people, you know, when you're talking, okay, okay, now I got to stop because I really need to do this today, right? And we're all in the same kind of business. So make sure you just jump back in and start making those calls. If you time block everything and you time block lead gen and then you time block follow up, then you'll have time to put people on searches or to prepare your listing presentation for tomorrow if one of your calls led to an appointment. You will have time because you time blocked the time to do it. So, great. So 10:24. Who else was able to get somebody on the phone? Oh, Ashley. So, oh, good. Sharon too. So what happened in your call, Ashley? How'd it go?
So I have a neighbor that wants me to help them sell their house and downsize once their daughter moves out next year. So I've been trying to kind of nurture that relationship, and I didn't talk to them for a while. So I just called to see how they're doing. And I'm going over with my boyfriend for wine on the patio tomorrow night.
That's the best.
Yeah. So I can kind of tell them, you know, everything that's been going on at Keller and kind of get them excited for the move and hopefully set them up on a home search and keep a pulse on the market until they are ready.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, completely. That's awesome. Sorry, everybody here. I can't get my screen to share for some reason. Okay, good. And Sharon, how'd your call go?
It was okay. I called my cousin. My aunt has been in rehab for a hip fracture. So I called to see how she was doing. And unfortunately, by the time we got through how my aunt was doing, she said, oh, her bus is here to take her back home. So we had to end the call, but I can call back later and kind of follow up and see how she's doing.
Okay. Okay. And that happens sometimes, right? So, okay. Not sure how that's not working. All right. Okay, so our job, if you think about it, is just to do lead generation. So if we really were to track, okay, I want to make 20 contacts a day, right? Contacts. And so maybe that includes dials, right? And not when you get somebody on the phone. And so you did your best. You made 5 texts. You sent out 5 emails, 5 phone calls, and 5 Facebook posts or social media posts. If that was the goal that you set for yourself every day in lead gen, and you did all 20, you did your job. You did what you said you're going to do. And so that's pretty fantastic. So I think that's great. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. So let's, I want to do another quick script practice. All right. I'm going to try to throw you into breakout rooms. I'm going to try to keep, Stephanie, where'd your partner Linda go? She's right out there. Is she on the phone? Okay. All right. So I'd love for you guys to do another script practice. And I simply want it to be, I want you to tell someone you're in real estate. Who did I lose? Devontae. I said script practice and he bailed. All right. So I want you to basically tell someone, and for Lisa, you're going to be like, you know, you're transitioning or you're doing both. You're just telling people what you're doing now, right? And I want one of their questions to be, well, how's the market? When you're in phone calls with people, here's one helpful tip. Do not go on and on about what your analysis of the market is. I want you to zip it. Say, you know, it's really good. What have you heard? Why do you ask? I want you to divert the attention from you, and I want you to, what is that person thinking about? Why would they ask you? Maybe they're just being nice. I don't know. We're going to script practice, and you're all going to get to pretend. And so you could be realistic and be someone that you're thinking about, or, you know, I really want you to challenge the other person. So we're going to set up into these breakup rooms. We're going to have 1, 2, 3. Actually, we're just going to have 2. So Stephanie, I'd love for you to practice this with Lisa or Linda if she comes back, okay? And I'd love for you guys to practice that. Everybody else online, I'm going to try to pair you up. And then I'm going to have these girls in here do it.
So Jody, the call I just made was to an ex-client. I sold him his house about 10 years ago. And then I managed his property for a while, and then he had decided to kind of go a different route. So I haven't been managing his property, and I haven't talked to him in probably 4 years. And I just made the call to him, said, "Hey Kev, it's Lisa. Hey Lisa, how are things going?" I said, "You're still renting your property out? How are things going?" You know, just chat, just kind of talk to him. He said, "I actually just looked you up on Facebook yesterday. I can't believe you're calling me today." And I said, "Well, you know what? I actually just drove past your house while I was on my way to another property last week, and you've been on my list. I wanted to call and reach out. Have you considered selling? Because some things are changing right now in the rental market in Breckenridge, which will create sales, will create new listings."
Yep.
"Yeah, I've heard that." I said, "If you're considering selling anytime soon, I would love the opportunity to interview for the job." And he said, "You're number one on my list. And until I'm at that point, if you have a buyer, please reach out to me because I will entertain an offer if you have a buyer." So that was the conversation I had. And he said, "I actually will be up there next week. I'll reach out to you." And last week, I actually just did the exact same thing. And on Friday, had dinner with a client that I sold his house about 15 years ago. So, and just recreated that relationship. So it does work.
Yep. We're just, right, we're following up with people. How you doing? How you been? What's going on? Can I help you with anything? Great. Love it, Lisa. Good. All right. Well, good. Why don't you guys, I'm going to put you in these breakup rooms. I want you to just give each other a chance. It's just a little back and forth. All right. And we're going to do it here. So we'll take about 5 minutes. I'm not sure how long my time options are. Let's see. A breakout room for 30 minutes. No, hold on. Yeah. Okay, sounds good. All right. So good luck. We'll join up here when this thing is over. And so, does everybody understand what I'm asking you to do? Okay, good. See you in a little bit. Okay. All right. So for the 3 of you, let's do this. Great, everybody jumped in. All right. So Lisa Felker, where'd she go? There. Everybody joined in. All right, so let's do this. Brittany, why don't you just listen then? Okay, and that'll give you a chance to think about what you're going to say. And so, Jackie, why don't you be you? And you're calling Jean.
Okay. I was gonna be in person.
Yep, go ahead.
Okay. And this actually happened over the weekend. So
Remember, we're telling people we're new to real estate, right?
yeah.
Good. Okay, go.
And it's
I'll-
kind of segued into a conversation. Okay.
Ready, go.
Right, so you are actually the owners of this house, they're renting it out. Okay. And I had someone, was at a yard sale for another seller. And so this guy.
So I'm the owner.
You're gonna be the owner of this house.
Landlord.
Yes, they own the house, they're renting it out, and they're in the middle of doing a renovation in the bathroom, so this potential buyer was talking to me and said he knew that this house was being rented out, and he said, "Do you know the owners?" I'm like, "No, I don't." He goes, "Would you go see if they're interested in selling?" And I'm like, "Absolutely." So I'm walking over, okay, so. And I knew their names, it was Lisa and Dan. So I'm like, "Hey, Lisa and Dan, my name's Jackie. I'm with KW, and I'm working with Linda over here at a yard sale. My friend Sheila from KW just sold her house, and we're just helping her try to declutter and clean out before closing. I have a gentleman who's interested in buying right in this neighborhood, and do you know of anyone, if you yourselves, if you're interested in selling, you can easily, connect and you can talk about it." And they were like, "Well, we've gotten this question before because we're renters or we're landlords in the area. So we're thinking about it." So I gave them my card and I said, first I had asked if they were working with anyone, and they said no. So I'm like, "Well, here's my card. If you find that, in this market, you are not interested in renting anymore, but you'd like to sell, I have a few people who would be interested in it."
Did you ask them why did they update the bathroom?
Well, I'm assuming because it was.
Some people.
They were installing new toilets, so I'm assuming
Okay,
they were
some
just.
people want to do some update before they sell.
Yeah, that's a good question. But I think what had happened was I led into, were you interested? I know you're landlords, and I know you're renting to Sharon. I know Sherry, who was renting because I talked to her. So they took the information and, so then I went back to the buyer because I know or the potential buyer, he was kind of listening because it was just right across the road. And I gave him the information, and then that's when I started talking to the buyer about possibly putting him on search, because he just wanted in that particular half-mile radius. That's all he was looking at. So that's kind of where that.
I should set up this kind of thing with my husband, because we're searching our house, and I want to every time look at some area. Yeah, so that's why I also want to know.
Yeah. So he took my card, I took his card, they took my card, so it was kind of like an exchange of cards. They weren't ready. They didn't want to sell.
Did they didn't?
No, I just, asked what they were,
Do they have an interest to sell? No, not at all.
He said, "We've had people send us flyers, we've had people knock on our doors, we've had other agents come to us about selling." Just because it's such a hot market, everybody.
They have another property to live, right? They stay in some other.
Yeah, they live. I'm not sure where they live.
Okay. Did you wrap it up? And good.
All
All right. Now, so was that helpful to you?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's do that now where, Jean, you're the real estate agent and Brittany's the person you run into, a friend. Okay? Good. Go ahead.
Face to face.
Sure. I don't care.
Or you could be in a call.
I really don't care.
I know, just cause some connection. Hi, Brittany. Haven't seen you for a while, but do you know I changed my job? I jumped into my career. I jumped my career into real estate. Oh my gosh. Right? Right? So yeah, how's everything going on you? a lot
your,
going on too.
how's your nurse class?
So I'm looking to switch to, I actually have my lease coming up in about 4 months. And I totally need to find something else. Can you help me with renting?
Yeah, of course, yes, but yeah, I would love to help you, but before I help you, I wanted to meet you to, what should I say? Provide some of your information. What do you want? What the size of the house you need, and what is the renting range, the money?
So I have these dogs and I love them to pieces.
These several dogs?
2.
2 dogs.
Yes.
So yeah, that's definitely we need to add it to, we have to search the area allow. And the size of pet is smaller size or bigger?
They're little guys.
That's even.
Yes. So if you can help me with that, that'd be amazing. I mean, 2 bedrooms, at least.
2 bedroom, 2 bedroom.
2 would be great.
Allowed 2 pets.
Okay. All right, wrap it up.
Okay, so just like this, we exchange some of the information.
Right. And so, I mean, that doesn't always happen when we're talking to people and just telling them we're new to real estate, right? And so their classes are gonna, their chat rooms are gonna close in about 100 seconds. And because I can't now get even my screen to work at all. Because I pushed a button. Great. We're going to, I didn't do it. I thought I did it. We're gonna have Brittany go, what? We're gonna have Brittany go and have a conversation with Jackie, okay? As soon as, oh man, work. So we'll see if this works, and it's not. So, oh yeah. So, finally. So I want you to think, Brittany, you're gonna make a call. Jackie's gonna be somebody you know, and you can decide whether they're good friends. You'll just set the stage when you call her and say whatever, okay? And so you're gonna, yep, or a face-to-face, it doesn't matter, and it's gonna be a new to real estate, okay? And so, because it doesn't matter. I mean, it's kind of the same way. Sure. So welcome back. We're gonna let Brittany go. She didn't get a chance, and so we're gonna let her practice. You guys are gonna listen. So, when you're listening to other people with their scripts, I mean, our job is to not make it super easy. Our job is to try to be realistic and not just be, oh yeah, sure. Oh, of course I want to sell my house. We want to provide some reality, and people aren't always like awful and hard to talk to, but they're not always easy either. They don't always say, oh yeah, I'd love to list with you. They have some qualifying questions. But if we're just making this call, or a face-to-face conversation, we're thinking about the other things that they said too that we like. Ooh, I like how they said that. I like how they kind of just were relaxed or whatever. So pay attention to what other people are doing. They're giving you some good tips to help you be a better real estate agent. So let's listen to Brittany as she is the real estate agent and she's talking to Jackie. Jackie's just an acquaintance. Ready?
Okay.
Good.
Jackie! Hey! Hi, how are you? So good. What's going on? I haven't seen you in forever. How are you?
Hi, I'm so glad to hear your voice because I haven't talked to you in the longest time. I've been doing great. We're just kind of in the summer groove and, planning vacation, finally getting out after COVID. It feels so good to have things to do and places to go and people to see. Yeah, it does. What's going on in your life?
Oh my gosh, everything is totally new. I just got my real estate license.
No way.
Yes.
Good for you.
Yes, it was really fun. COVID obviously it shook up some things. This is what I'm doing now. Yeah, so I'm selling houses. Selling houses like
glad to hear that because my husband and I were thinking about selling. We're not sure. We just finished a reno but we saw some crazy things happening in our neighborhood.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about what's happening?
You know, I actually have got to run to an appointment and I'm out of cards because I've been jamming. Can I get some of your contact information?
Oh, yeah.
And send you some stuff? Would that be good?
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because I changed my email address. So let me give you my new email address.
Hey, what is it?
Lovey@gmail.com. So yes, send me what you have and maybe we can talk a little bit more in depth about this because I'm interested.
Yes, sounds great. Okay, I will talk to you soon, dear.
Okay, thanks. Bye. Good to hear from you. Thanks for making my day.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm going to tell you what I loved about that. And then you can tell me if you loved anything or if you loved what anybody else said to you while you're doing that. Okay. What if Brittany had nowhere to go, but she's like, I got to make 10 other calls today. You know, and maybe she's like, or, you know, like, what if she's just kind of, I don't know. People don't know what your schedule is. But if you were like, you know what, I would love to catch up with you. I have another appointment. But yeah, tell me your good email address. And are you still living at the same place, you know, in Arvada? And anyways, you're going to cyber stalk them anyways. You can find out where she lives, right? So, and then I love that. She's like, you know, I got to go. I'm, you know, busy and I don't have any cards because whatever, I would never say that, but I just thought it was cute. And I totally believe her when she says she's jamming or whatever. And so I just love that. And so a lot of times if you make a phone call and you know this person talks forever, you say, you know what, it was so good. I only had 45 minutes to talk on the phone and I have an appointment I have to go to, you know, because you've already been on the phone with them for 45 minutes. And you just say, I have an appointment, but it was so great to catch up with you. I'm going to send you my email address and my contact information so we can stay in touch. And I just hope you do great on that, blah, blah, blah. All right, see ya, bye. But you could always say you have an appointment. If you get someone who is too chatty, and you should hang up and then you should make your next phone call, right? And so, but if you know you're going to call 5 people today and you know who Mr. Chatty is, put Mr. Chatty at the backside, please, right? Your job is to do your lead gen. Your job is not to have hour-long phone calls with people because you know who they are, right? Don't call them first. So that's what I loved about what she did. So what else, when you were doing your little script practice, what did you like that the other person said or did? Or
I was just going to comment on the script practice that we just heard as a group. Thank you for doing that, ladies. I loved the energy. It was really fun and happy and positive.
yes. Yeah, do you have that person that calls you and when you talk to them, they are so happy and excited and you like talking to them? We keep losing Devontae. He's like, no, I'm out. Okay. What if, you know, being your genuine self, what if that was you, that you called people, hey, how's it going? Oh my gosh, I haven't talked to you forever. So good. How blah, 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 yada, 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 right? And so I had a client like that. I called him and he was in sales. And every time he was like, Jody, oh my God, it made me feel so good. It did. And there's something too, people like to have they like to hear their name. Kids like to hear their name, right? And if you've ever had customers where they came in and you recognize them, oh, Jackie, how you doing? People, they do like to hear their name. And so what if you were like, Salvador, holy crap, how's it going? I've not heard from you forever, or, you know, blah, blah, blah. Not being fake or weird, right? Don't be a cheerleader, right? Don't be weird, but be your genuine self. How would you normally behave? But that energy you bring, maybe, you know, at the beginning of this class, we talked about there's a half hour where you do like motivational business planning or whatever it said. But what if you're like, all right, I'm getting jacked up. I'm going to watch a YouTube video right now, something that's going to get me motivated for my day, get me going. I'm going to feel good. I have my coffee. I'm going to listen to a TED talk on the way to work. I don't know, whatever it is you do, just kind of get, wake up. What if you were the person that was the highlight of somebody's day? I mean, that's pretty simple, right? Because you're going to be a lot of things to a lot of people. You are kind of going to be a marriage counselor to some people, unfortunately. You are a problem solver to every client of yours. You're going to make sure that your clients do their jobs and that other people do their jobs and that you're going to find help for them. So what if you took on that role and that's what you thought? Every day you're calling people, I'm going to be a helper. I'm going to be a connector. I'm going to connect the people I know to the people that they need to know, right? And so that's all we're doing. And if you're excited about that, because you got to.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but this whole conversation is my nurse lessons and internship. So whether you might have 6 neighbors.
Oh, fabulous. So Jing just made her call, just called her back while you guys were watching this other thing. And so now that they called her back, did y'all hear that? Turned into a brunch. Now that she's going to go to brunch with neighbors and stuff. So she's.
First of all, 2 hours to walk around our neighborhood, which I will let this lady, I call her very long time. Not year-round, but season next summer. So she knows a lot of people. So she will, just in case I meet some people, she will introduce me.
Yes.
Like, and then
fabulous.
We'll have a brunch with several
brunch with neighbors, walking around, and becoming good friends with the person that knows everybody. So if you're not the energy, are you friends with the energy person? Maybe you should be, right? Right. So,
one of the things I played out.
Yes, don't be shy. You are shy, please. Okay, she's like a little bit. All right, who was that, Lisa?
Yeah, one of the things that we played out when we did our script was you call somebody, say like in the group, yeah, we might be wanting to list our property. Another thing that we played out in our script is if you were to sell your home, what would you be doing? Because a lot of times sellers right now are a little bit hesitant to list their properties because how are they going to replace their home? And so we played out, well, if you were going to sell your home, what would be your next move? Because they may say, well, that's actually one of my hesitations in listing my property. I'd love to upgrade, but I've been hearing in the market that if I sell my home, I'm not going to be able to find something to upgrade it with. Well, would you mind, do I have permission to, kind of get their criteria of what their upgrade would look like as well? Because now you are fulfilling more than one need. Now all of a sudden you've got them sent out, you got their criteria sent out as well. So you're sending them market information, sold comps, but now you're overall the person who is also sending them what their replacement would be. And so there's absolutely no reason for them to seek out another broker for that either, because you have completed the circle. And now you have even more reasons to reach out to your client.
Mm-hmm. And that's your job, right? And you want to help people. And yeah, is it out of line to ask someone, well, what are you looking for? If you were to move, where would you want to go? Is that out of line in our profession? No. A common courtesy of, just meeting a stranger on the street, if you guys were in this conversation, you would probably say, yeah, well, where would you want to go? Right? If you weren't a real estate agent, you were talking to somebody. So there's a natural progression of questions that would make sense for you to ask. I love it. And so just relax and be yourself when you're talking to people on the phone, when you're seeing them face to face, right? Because your whole goal is to put a 1 on the form I send you every Monday. Your whole goal is to get an appointment every week, right? These are the things that are going to make you feel good, and those are going to be the things that make you feel like you actually are working and you got a job, right? Oh, he's back. So, good. All right, so we made a call. We did some script practice. Let me encourage you that if you feel like there's something that you're not comfortable with discussing, I want you to write that out. And then I want you to solve your own problem. I don't feel so comfortable talking to people about the market. How are you going to fix that? I don't feel comfortable talking to people on the phone. How are you going to fix that? Because you're going to have bigger issues. How do you resolve this? The buyer and the seller don't want to pay, either of them, for this inspection item. You know, you're going to have to think outside the box and mastermind some things. So keep thinking, keep reaching out to other people. And maybe your job is, why don't you call someone that you think they're really comfortable being social, a good friend of yours, and call your friend and say, hey, I got this thing going on. I'm supposed to be making calls every day and just really not looking forward to it. And you always seem very comfortable in your business. How do you do this? Right? Do you know other business owners? Can you ask them how they got started in their business? Isn't that another easy phone call? Because you're asking them about them. How'd you do this? What was your first year like? How'd you get to be so successful? And hopefully they like to talk about it. All right, so we've gone over quite a bit today. Time blocking, doing your most important stuff first, right? The 20%. Afford sandwich, right? If you guys walk away from this with anything, I hope it's the time blocking, your business, and the Ford sandwich. You have a voicemail script. I hope today it's done, one and done, right? You don't have to think about that again. And yeah, it's, oh, good. Okay. That's a fine example. Yes. Go ahead.
Oh, I wanted to share that I used your voicemail script just when we took a break to go reach out to someone, and they called me back while you were talking. When we came back from break, they called me back, so I stopped away to have that conversation. So we're meeting up to have some like tea or coffee or something like that as well. Yeah.
Tell you guys how often this happens. Like I do a thing in my office called Lead Gen Labs. And so every Monday, you're supposed to come, we identify who are we going to talk to this week, what are we going to talk about, and then we make some calls. Maybe we script practice if we need. And I mean, like, it's happened so much. Somebody will say, I got a call and I got an appointment. And I was like, oh my God, I mean, I wish that was happening for me, you know, like, but it's a lot easier than we think. We're in a very social business, so we could just be asking for coffee appointments all over the place. I mean, that gets expensive and you don't have time for that. But my big ask of trying to be face-to-face with people is to tell them about this big local event that we have going on that I'm volunteering at basically the whole weekend. And I hope to see them there and I'll buy them a beer. I'd love to see you. I haven't seen you forever. I hope you're doing good. Come into the beer garden. I'll buy you a beer, right? Because I can't set up 30 coffees with people. I want to invite them to a party that I'm not planning. I'm just volunteering at. It's way easier. I hope they come. I hope they have fun. I hope they remember I invited them, right? And we all have a good time. And I spent, I don't know how much the beer is going to cost, $6 on a beer. I can spend $6 on a beer. It's going to be cheaper than planning a client appreciation party, isn't it? If all 30 of the people I called showed up, wouldn't I be freaking happy if all 30 of the people showed up and I had to buy beer? I'd be totally cool with that, right? When you think about your budget, it's $180 and the chamber's gonna love me for buying that many beers, right? I'll tell my husband it's a part of our business plan. So,
Jody?
Yep.
Sure. So what would you call that if you're calling a bunch of people and saying, I mean, would you call it just a get together at the bar, or you know, or get together at the coffee shop?
Yeah.
Do you have a name for it?
No, so my big business, the way I do my lead gen, which hurt me last year a little bit, but not really actually, is I like to call people about events. So I love our community. And so I like to invite people I know to our mountain community. And that's how either I've met buyers and sellers or I know people that live in the area, right? And so that's the commonality we have. This is live music, there's beer, and there's a kids area. And we're in the mountains. That appeals to almost everybody. And so I just tell people, you know, I'm really connected. I'm a chamber member. I was the president of the chamber for a year and been really involved, and I love our community events. And so I just thought, Sharon, I just thought you'd love to get out and participate. I know how social you are, and I know you like to dance. So I thought you'd love to come out. It's going to be a good time, right? And so that's something that I would say to people. And it's so easy. Like, the whole month for the last month, when I call people, that's all I'm talking about. I don't even have to think about what I'm talking about. I'm just telling everybody. And I'm going to email follow up and send a link, and I posted something on Facebook. So I've layered it, right? They're going to see it on Facebook. They're going to see me on Facebook. They're going to get an email from me, and then they're going to get a phone call from me. And then hopefully I see them face to face. That means the month of July, I'm only calling people about one freaking thing. It's so easy. I don't have to think about it. I do the same thing in December for the Conifer Christmas Parade. So what is it that is important that you already like to do in your life? Could you put 4 big things, 4 big events in your business plan for the year? And that's where you center your marketing around and your lead generation around. Wouldn't that be easier? It's easier for me. So last year when COVID hit and I had no events to call people about, all I did was care calls. How you doing? How's your family? Are you working? Are your kids driving you crazy? You know what? I know this park that's open you could go to. I know this hiking trail you could go to. There's not that many people. I know you want to get out with your dog, or I know you know, I've been ordering food locally, so I was really promoting local businesses last year. I was shopping locally only. I did all my Christmas shopping locally only. Can you guys do that for your community? Salvador, you just said, you know, you grew up in Westminster. I bet you have great ties. I bet you know people who own businesses there. How can you take care of your people, right? So there's a lot of things you guys can share with people that's easy to share. And I like to share about things not about myself, right? So here's this great community, here's this great restaurant, here's this great, we used to have a bookstore here. It made me so sad, and they closed last year, right? But really just, sometimes I promote other businesses. Can you promote an inspector? Could you, not an inspector doesn't need any promotion right now, right? Still brick and mortars need some promotion. So could you go to your favorite coffee shop and say, hey, can I shoot a little video in here for like 30 seconds? Is that okay? They're going to say yes. Shoot a little video. Hey, I'm at my favorite coffee shop in Conifer, Colorado. They have the best vanilla latte around and this really delicious scone. Love for you guys to come out. Here's the address. Check it out. Right? Even if it's a bad video, or if you do a cute little Instagram post. So easy. And you've just told the owner, hey, can I leave my business cards here? Do you have a board for that? All right, it's 11:01. I gotta go to another meeting. I hope you guys have a great day. You got another class at 11:30. I hope it goes awesome. Best of luck to you guys. And call me if you need anything. Sure.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye, thank you.